Hi everyone. So today, crazy, I'm going to set up a YouTube account. So this is the first video, a TikTok account and an Instagram account. And essentially what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to do what lots of other people have done, some successfully, some not so successfully, but I'm going to try and make £1 million from £1 by doing whatever I need to do. And I'll come to that, what I'm going to do and the strategies. But that's basically the plan, is for me to be able to raise £1 million, whether that is by flipping, by using other businesses, by affiliates. I'm not going to put a time scale on it because I think that's a bad form. There's a lot of people that have tried it and they just put pressure on themselves by saying I've got to do it in a year, then there's all that pressure. I don't care whether I do it in 3 months, 6 months, a year or 2 years. The objective for me is that trying to turn my life around, not this bad, but trying to turn my life around to see if I can help myself financially and to give enough feedback and to be transparent with you guys so that everything I do is available for you to see. I'll make a little website so everything is visible. So if anyone wants to copy it or duplicate it or do what they can to see if they can change their life or make money, they can do that too. Okay, so my ideas are obviously to flip stock. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that just buy anything, because anything is great, but you need to do your research. So there are people that I followed now and in the past to do this very same exercise. And they failed on the premise that they were buying what they thought would sell before looking at the market to know what does sell. So, they're buying, it could be a bike, for example, thinking it's going to sell when there are hundreds, thousands of children's bikes or adult bikes available at the tip yard, so it wasn't a good market. So there's things like that you have to do your research. To the point where actually some other people that I followed were got to the point where they'd raised enough money and they were then flipping houses, to be able to try and get that revenue. And obviously, when you're looking at the first 100K is probably fairly straightforward and fairly easy to produce. But when you get from 100K upwards, you've then got you don't want to carry on doing your flipping of £20, £50 or £100. You want to be looking at flipping £1,000, £10,000, £30,000, etc., etc. You've also then got to have affiliate links with other people. You've got to be able to combine with groups. So there's going to be other people like me that are going to do this and will benefit from other people who are doing it. So the stories combine. So I help them, they help me, and it's a shared collective. And the objective for me would be to say find 5 or 10 couples that we all sort of amalgamate. So we don't share the money, we help each other. So I would broadcast stuff they're doing, they would broadcast stuff I'm doing, or we would comment on things that they've done to help each other. So if there are people that are just starting out that would love to do this, get in contact with me and we'll see if we can sort of come up with some cunning plan to share details where you can help me, I can help you, and we can make money together. So that's one sort of strategy. The next strategy I realise is that in order for you to make £1 million, it's not a large amount of money nowadays, but it is, obviously, it's a million times a pound. So it's but there are other quicker ways to do it. So instead of just using the flipping and affiliating, you can have additional businesses. So you can start off with something small. So you could go on something like Depop or Depop, whatever it's called, that the buying and selling of clothes and stuff. You can do that and set up a little business there. I've got 2 businesses that I am sort of setting up, and I've been working behind the scenes for several months. Just to see if I can roughly set up 2 businesses. So I'm sort of cheating, even though it's day one. I've sort of done some background work for 2 businesses, but I've made no sales. So I've just done the background work. So one of them is a company that I've named Neo Art, or Neo AI Art. So NEOAIRT, Neo AI Art. And we have a company set up in that name. And also a company called Renew Me. Okay, and that's RNUU.me. Okay, so Neo Art is basically, I'm a photographer and a designer by previous trade and qualification. I've also done a lot of work commercially doing other stuff completely, but obviously the design and photography pays into the Neo Art. So what I've done is I have, using AI technology in the beginning and then using my extensive skills as photographer and designer, I've then created very, very saleable, large art. So from 20 inches square to 50 inches square, or to 50 by 100 inches in diameter. So very, very large scale pieces, but they're also produced to a gallery level. And then we can sell them, in their raw form, so just printed, or we can have them framed. So we sell them to anywhere, or will sell them to anywhere in the UK and around the world, because posting art that's folded up is fairly cheap. And there's a good return on investment for that sort of project. Part two of that business actually is to take the art that I've produced, and at the moment I've done about 17 series. And in those series is somewhere between 5 and 20 pieces, and they're obviously we can have them printed at any of those sizes, and obviously I can have them framed. But framing, we frame them using AR-70 glass and really, really high profile frames and framing, and with all the personalization, they're signed. You get provenance and everything with them, so they're very, very high quality art. And I use that word, loosely, because there's a lot of artists out there, painters, who I enormously respect, who don't consider AI art to be art. But that's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And for some point, actually, I do find that it's not real art, because I'm a little bit of an artist myself. But anyway, so the point is to take that framed art and rent it to businesses and houses and to societies and for events, for short and long term gigs. So that's a good return on investment. There's a few companies in the country that already do it and they're successful. So why not? So there's that. I've already got the art, so that's great. So that's business one. Business two, then Renew Me. So Renew Me is at the moment it's going to start off selling the creatine supplements, but not the rubbish creatine that you buy, in the market on TikTok. You can buy it everywhere, but it's not even supermarkets. But they sell the really bad stuff. They sell the 80 mesh stuff, and unfortunately, the 80 mesh has got it's got heavy metals and things in it and impurities that are not perfect. And it also doesn't dissolve very well. So what we've done is we've sourced. I have sourced the best creatine, two types of creatine in the world. So fundamentally, we use a creatine product, which has much less impurities, and it's also finer. So it's 200 mesh. So when you stir it in water, especially if it's tepid water, it will disappear. It's tasteless. It's wonderful, and it's really, really good for anyone between the ages of 18 and 80, especially if you want something to improve your mind. I take it. I have been taking it for about 6 months. And cognitively, it's much, much better for an older person. But it also helps you get fit and to have more endurance at the gym. It's really, really good, especially if you're doing like running and high intensity exercises. So I'm going to sell that. And then also part of Renew Me, if it ever establishes, then, and again, that website's live. So that's www.renewme.me. So that's live. You can buy that stock now. And ultimately, what we'd love to be able to do is to expand on that, to do more versions of creatine. But also then, I'm very, very passionate about the things I put in my body. I don't want to put bad things in my body. Obviously, as a kid, I've done everything that most other people will do, but I'm not going to do that now as an older person. So I have created 4 very, very clean energy drinks. They're all done. They're all created. The only thing we haven't got is revenue. And, I would need quite a lot of revenue to be able to make that work. So at the moment, even though my £1 to £1 million is something that I believe is easily achievable over a few years, the objective is to start small. So we would start just selling the art, the digital art, or renting the art, or then selling the creatine online in 500 gram pouches, and we're going to do 1 kilo pouches and all the stuff like that. But anyway, that then leaves me to the next business, so that's sort of business 3, which I touched on in the beginning, which is the flipping of products. Now, like I said, it's very, very important that you don't just take any product. You have to be smart with it. And your objective is to start small to get from your pound to whatever, but your job is to spend all of it. So you don't take any money out. Okay, so this has got to be a sideline, like on top of your salary. So you've got to put all that money in, and that money will come from marketing, your driving, your fuel, wherever you've got to go, has got to come from this money. So at the beginning, that £1, you've got to be quite smart. You've got to try and find something local, so you can either walk or drive, because you're already spending money fuel-wise and the wear and tear of your vehicle to try and make more money. Or you find something in your house that's no longer of value, you can sell for value. I know that sounds a bit daft, but if you bought something a year ago for £20, you've had your use out of it. So it's of no value, really. So then you could sell it for maybe £5 and you've made your profit from £1 to £5. So you've got to start small and you've got to then work your way up. And the objective is to try and flip things that will sell, like I already touched on. And then keep doing that and maybe have more than one product. So you might buy 6 products or 10 products. But again, I'll be extremely transparent with this. So of the 3 businesses that I want to look at, the flipping is obviously going to be the one that I really work on, the most for now, because it's the one that I can look at to make work and to function easier, because I don't need so much revenue like the other projects. I need more revenue to be able to buy the frames or have them printed or buy the products for the pouches for the creatine. So the flipping is what I'll do first. So it then leads me to the transparency. So what I'm going to do every single week, I will post videos of the things I've done and how I've sold it, and buying and selling. I'll share everything. I'll also share the spreadsheets that we're going to use. I'll produce maybe a public ledger, and maybe, like I said, a little website that you guys can go on and have a little look to see where we are. I'll be totally and utterly upfront, so everybody will be able to see everything I do. So if you want to copy it or if you want to utilize the information within it, you're welcome to. I'll even create some sort of download. So if someone wants to download the Excel spreadsheet, or if you want to use ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that to assist that, I can give you prompts for that. I will probably no doubt use certain prompts to be able to help me with that, especially when it comes to things like marketing, because marketing can really help. So if you've got ChatGPT or something like that, you can ask it for certain prompting or for certain marketing strategies. But anyway, I will share everything I've got with you. I will hopefully see you on the journey. And now I know this video is the first video I've got, so I'm going to have no subscribers, I'm going to have no members, I'm going to have no views, but I'm going to post it and I'm going to keep posting it until I start making an impression. I still take my £1 and I'm going to turn that into hopefully £1 million within a certain time period. But like I said, don't pressurize yourself if you want to try it by saying I'm going to do it in a year or do it in 6 months, because it's just not worth it. Anyway, guys, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I hope you come back and watch me. And when I'm up on YouTube and on TikTok, on Instagram, if you subscribe, that'd be great. Obviously, the more views I get, the more I can help other people, and the more potentially in the future we can get affiliations with other people. So Yeah, great. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate your time.